With the ever-increasing advancements in technology, it has improved our lives in many ways. It can be seen in the breakthroughs in medicine, science, computers, food production, and transportation. These advancements have made our lives more convenient and faster in ways unimaginable 20 years ago. Despite all these great benefits from modern technology, it has contributed to a spike in mental health cases previously invisible by millions until now. With the ever-increasing number of cases of mental illness, what could be causing this? The economic status of the times can play a significant part into it, especially if it is a time where there is a ton of unemployment and business foreclosures. Family history can often have a mental health issue run down from generation to generation. It can also depend on where you live and your living situation. However, the most apparent factor that plays into this crisis is social media usage. It is especially more apparent with the pandemic and social distancing putting most of our social interactions online to prevent the spread of COVID. According to the medical news today, national surveys and population-based studies show that the world of social media can have devastating effects on users' mental health. In the US alone, surveys findings show a 25% increase in suicide attempts amongst teenagers between 2009 and 2017. It can be attributed to social media due to cyberbullying and trolling being very prevalent within these sites. It matches what the Center of Health Research has found about social media usage being linked to an increase in anxiety, depression, and many other health issues, with 13% of 12 to 17-year-olds reporting depression and 32% reporting anxiety. Mental illness is a concern for adolescent health. It is a concern for young adults as well, since 25% of 18 to 25-year-olds report having some form of mental illness. Depression is particularly increasing amongst girls. Some researchers have suggested that this increase in mental illness is at least in part connected to the rise of social media use among adolescents and young adults. These things manifest in many different ways. Anxiety triggered by social media through the struggle of body image is common amongst young adults. It is especially prevalent among girls and those in the fitness community. There's also anxiety commonly attributed to social media usage in the fear of missing out. It is especially common amongst adolescents as they usually have negative feelings about themselves if they feel excluded. With all these never-ending rabbit hole of problems linked to social media, are there ways to fix this problem? While it may be tempted to ban social media, it will do more harm than good. What about putting restrictions on social media? That can be a tricky thing because of what constitutes as free speech or not. While there are times where it makes sense to restrict dangerous/harmful speech, other times the lines can blur, which makes it tricky to figure out what is free speech or not. Another important thing to consider is that social media has done some good for the world. It's been responsible for spreading awareness for tons of injustices and social problems in society that would have been ignored otherwise. Plus, it can allow small businesses to find an audience and create their success. Since this crisis revolves around social media, it makes sense that a solution comes from social media itself. It can be achieved by creating an app that connects patients to treatment options and support groups that can allow them to get the best treatment possible. The number of cases of mental illness is now overwhelming the healthcare system. The COVID-19 pandemic exacerbated the need to improve an already limited access to mental health services, amid reports of staggering increase in mental illness. The most effective solution to resolving this worldwide crisis is to create a mental health-related social media app. Although these apps have to work within the challenges of respecting their patients' privacy and insurance plans, an app like this can do wonders for many people, as it can work around the limited access to in-person mental health services, especially if the person lives in a rural, suburban area. This can also be very important as it can allow people who are far away from a hospital to receive treatment as soon as possible. It could also be cheaper than traditional healthcare, which can be helpful for those in lower caste families who are not financially well off. This is especially prevalent with the ever-increasing cost of healthcare that increases every single year, which has made it a lot harder for people to afford healthcare than years prior. It can also be more convenient as an app because it can operate 24/7, which can provide services to patients at any time and anywhere in the world. It makes it more engaging for users because the treatment provided by the apps breaks away from traditional in-person treatment options, because the apps factor in the user's schedule. so they can be more actively participating in their therapy sections and continue to seek treatment for their given issues, which can make them better off in the long run. Things are starting to look great because companies are already jumping at the opportunity to create these apps, and you can already find some of these apps in the App Store on your Android and Apple devices. These apps include Talkspace, BetterHelp, Calm, Pride Counseling, Youper, Headspace, Insight Timer, and many more. These apps each have different specialties on what they focus on, which can be useful in categorizing the individual's needs overall, so they don't have to waste time guessing on what they need help in overall. While these apps are a new thing for most people right now, they'll eventually start to become a household name and make a significant impact on the lives of millions. It's only a matter of time before their popularity kicks in. With that in mind, these new apps are a step in the right direction because it gives people help in a much more efficient and affordable manner at the palm of their hands. If more people get access to these apps, it will spread more awareness and help more people get the help they need, so millions of more people do not have to suffer any further, so they have a better chance of living a more fulfilling and meaningful life.